Hey everyone, before we dive into today's story, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out, and you won't want to miss what we have coming up. Thanks a bunch. In the heart of the same sprawling city lived two leaders. They had never met, but they thought about each other more than they knew. On one side, you have Anya, the celebrated CEO of a global logistics firm. Her office, a sleek, minimalist space, high above the bustling streets. On the other side was Ben, the founder of a small nonprofit that turned abandoned city lots into vibrant, chaotic community gardens, bursting with life. To the outside world, Anya was a titan of industry, a millionaire many times over, her name synonymous with success. But in the quiet, solitary moments, she felt like a ghost haunting her own life. Her calendar was a fortress, her days a relentless blur of meetings, projections, and reports. Sometimes, she would stand at her floor-to-ceiling window and gaze down at a small, distant patch of green Ben's garden. Looking down at it, she saw a piece that felt a million miles away from her own reality. She saw a life of purpose, of dirt under the fingernails, of real, tangible growth. She'd think to herself, he must feel so fulfilled. No shareholders, no quarterly reports, just planting seeds and watching them grow. He's living a real life, while I'm just managing a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, down in that very garden, Ben was seen as a hero by his community. He was the giant who fought back against urban decay with nothing but seeds, shovels, and an unwavering spirit. But as he stood there, his hands covered in rich soil, he'd look at the stack of unpaid bills, the leaking hose, and the dwindling funds, and he felt small. He'd look up, way up, at the gleaming skyscraper that dominated the skyline Anya's tower. To him, that building was a symbol of real impact, of power, of the ability to make change at a scale he could only dream of. He would imagine the good he could do with her resources. "I'm fighting for scraps just to buy fertilizer," he'd mutter. "While she's moving mountains with a single phone call, she must feel like she can change the world." Their paths, which had run parallel for so long, finally crossed at a citywide awards ceremony. It was a grand affair, celebrating the city's brightest minds. Anya was there to receive the Business Leader of the Year award, and in that same audience, Ben was also being honored, receiving the Community Impact Award. Later that evening, after the speeches and the applause had faded, they found themselves in the same quiet corner of the rooftop terrace, overlooking the city lights. Ben, feeling a mix of awe and nerves, approached her. "Congratulations, Ms. Anya," he said. "What you've built is, well, it's monumental. I run the little garden you can probably see from your office. Sometimes I look up at your tower and I'm just, wow." Anya offered him a genuine, tired smile. "Congratulations to you, too, Ben," she replied. "It's funny you should say that. Sometimes I look down at your garden from my office, and I think the exact same thing." Well, as they began to talk, the formal pretense of the evening melted away, replaced by a raw, honest conversation. Ben looked at her, confused. "Really? I imagined my life must seem incredibly small from up there." "Small?" Anya shook her head. "It seems real. You're creating food, community, beauty. I spend my days in abstractions, logistics chains, market projections. My life feels boring. I strive for the kind of direct impact you have, every single day." Ben was stunned into silence for a moment. "Boring? I would give anything for the stability you have, the freedom from worrying if we can afford to fix the water pump next month. I always thought my life was a constant struggle, and yours was a victory lap." Just then, a wise old author, the keynote speaker of the event, happened to walk by and had overheard their exchange. He paused, a gentle smile on his face. "I couldn't help but overhear," he said. "You both remind me of a quote I once read. You can seem like a millionaire to one person and a homeless person to the next. The ants think you are a giant, and the trees don't even notice you." The author went on to explain his point. He told Anya that she saw herself as a single, unnoticed tree in a vast forest of corporate giants, always comparing herself to bigger companies, bigger deals. And he told Ben that he saw himself as a giant, the answer individual lives he touched in the garden, but felt completely insignificant next to the towering trees of industry, like Anya's company. Then he looked at them both and said, "You both lead. One of you is a painter, creating a masterpiece on a giant canvas for the whole world to see. The other is a gardener, cultivating a small patch of earth that nourishes a community. Tell me, is a masterpiece on a wall more valuable than a garden that feeds people?" Of course not. The world needs both its painters and its gardeners. In that moment, everything clicked. Anya realized her boring life of logistics was the invisible structure that allowed millions to thrive, getting them the goods they needed every day. And Ben realized his small garden wasn't small at all. It was a universe of hope and connection for his entire community. Their mistake was never in their leadership, but in their measurement. They were using someone else's ruler to measure their own soul. Weeks later, a change had taken place. Anya was in her office, but she was smiling, truly smiling. She was on a call, finalizing a new initiative to use her company's vast logistics network to deliver fresh produce from urban farms, just like Ben's. And down in the garden, Ben was teaching a group of children how to plant seeds. He glanced up at Anya's tower, but this time, there was no envy in his eyes. There was only a sense of partnership, of shared purpose. They both learned that comparison truly is the thief of joy. By staying kind to themselves and choosing to love the life they had, they finally discovered their true value. They stopped playing the exhausting game of comparison and started playing the liberating game of perspective. The moral of this story is simple but powerful. Your leadership is unique. Your impact cannot and should not be measured by someone else's standards. Whether you are building a global empire or cultivating a local garden, your value is not relative. It is absolute. True leadership isn't found in being better than someone else. It's found in being the very best version of yourself, right where you are. Thanks for watching today. I hope this story resonated with you. If it did, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Dan T, forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you, Dan T, miss our next video. See you next time.